Lover. Everybody please give it up for Ms. Rachel Peters.
Oh, sweet. Thank you, Lauren. Thank you, Lauren. Really loving it. Don't you love it when a comedian comes up who's really encouraging? That's going to be the best. What's up? I just, to take it down to reality for a second, I know like right now there's a lot of things going on like nationally, internationally, politically, economically. So I have got a quick question for everybody. What's worse? Knowing your mom's cum sound? Or knowing that you and your mom make the same cum sound? Because when I heard my mom cum for the first time, I was kind of grossed out. But then she did like a little giggle at the end, and I was like, hey, that's my thing, don't fucking do that. I think the worst part about that joke is that my dad saw me do a set recently, and he was just like, oh, hey, honey, this is a really good set, love seeing you. By the way, your mom doesn't do that. And I was like, oh, no. He doesn't know. My mom's a boundaryless mom. Anybody in here have a boundaryless mom? Yeah, this is a pretty alt room. Everybody's had a mom who told them the thing they didn't want to hear. Yeah, my mom lives in Panama. She's a single woman dating in a foreign country. And apparently, in Panama, there's a lot of dudes that are married, and she was talking to me recently. She goes, oh, honey, I hate it here. Everybody's married, and I just can't get laid. And I was just like, Celia, I feel you. And she was like, you can call me mom. And I was like, well, then you can keep that to yourself. Okay. So you're talking about me about your sex life, you lose mom privileges. My mom was on a show with me once, not gonna lie, it was this man's show. And she flashed the audience. I've never flashed the audience. I feel like my mom lives a better life than I do most of the time. I'm not gonna lie. Woo, alright, cool, I get it. Sick. Let's see here. Yeah, my dad, by comparison, is like astonishingly innocent. He's like too innocent for me to be alive. Like, he saw a show of mine, he was just like, hey, I really want to know, do you have any jokes about me? And I was like, well, I have one. He was like, alright, hit me with it. And it starts off with, oh, well, my dad is 69. And my dad literally went, oh, I get it. Because I'm old. Oh, Daddy, no. Anyway, I grew up in a city. Anybody in here grow up in Philadelphia proper? Yes! Alright, cool. We got one person. Everybody else in here is gonna hate this fucking joke. Alright. Anybody grow up in a city? A city. Where'd you grow up?
Bombay.
Oh, that's true. You were just on. I should have listened to you. I grew up in DC, and one of the things that I really fucking hate about like being in a city is when I hear people go, oh gosh, I love living here now, but I would never raise a family in a city. It just fucking reeks of just like people being like, I don't want too much diversity. And this is the thing, like, sure, yeah, raise your kids in the suburbs if you want a punk-ass, pussy-ass bitch. Fine, okay. And you know what, okay, sure, like, there are things about growing up in a city that, like, I didn't get, like, sure, I am 31 and I don't know how to drive. Because it scares me. But I know how to say, call an Uber, not an ambulance, in 4 different languages. So. Cool, ambulances are expensive. Don't let people do that. That's serious. That's just a life tip. I used to go skinny dipping. Anybody in here ever go pool hopping and skinny dipping? Yeah, dude. I went pool hopping in public pools in DC. I loved doing that, and I used to take all my clothes off and jump in the water. I thought I was super sneaky. Until I realized that no neighborhood watch is going to tell a 16-year-old girl to put her clothes back on. Yeah. Yeah, that's pretty real, dude. And that, like, I bet there was one guy that saw me and he was just like, hey, what's going on? She's not hurting anybody. That is a fucked up joke. Anyway, yeah, no, I've been dating for a while. I went through a breakup a little while ago. Anybody in here single? Sure, that's the most lackadaisical fucking one. Jesus, it's rough out there, you guys. Be in love instead. Fucking Christ. Yeah, man. No, I went through a breakup a little while ago. It was kind of rough, just because like I knew it was gonna end because we were doing things together we had never done before. Like he was like, we should watch porn together, and I was like, yeah, I read about this. Let's go for it. And so this dude, he gets out his laptop and he types in lesbian schoolgirls. And there are these two chicks in these like teeny little skirts, and they're just like studying super hard for this test. As one girl turns to her friend, she just goes, "Ooh, Kelly, I don't think I'm gonna do too good on this test." And I was like, "You're not gonna do too well," and I shut the laptop. It's fucked up, you know, because I've seen lesbian porn meant for men, I've seen lesbian porn meant for women, and I don't think you guys know how women have sex. I know for sure it's not true. Because this is the thing. Okay, we'll see. I've seen this one porn that was clearly meant for men where these two chicks in these stiletto heels. And then this woman takes her heel and she starts fucking the other woman with the heel of her shoe. Right? That's fucked up because that is pretty bad for your vagina. But also, that is horrible for the shoes. Don't do that. Oh man. Yeah, I've been dating though. I like dating. I did the apps. The apps are cool. They're fine. Quickly backtracking, they're fucking horrible. Oh my god. This dude, I met a guy on the apps who made a lot more money than me, and that one was kind of sick, so I tried to lock it down. And one day we were like cuddling together, we were like hid on the pillow, and he was just like, "What are you afraid of?" And I was like, "Working." So other guy, he wanted to go on a picnic together, and I was like, "Yeah, I'm so down, let's do it. Like, I'll bring the drinks. What's your favorite non-alcoholic drink?" And he just goes, "Milk."
I don't like milk.
2% milk. You want to know how much I like 2% milk? And I was like, "You're gonna tell me." And he literally says to me, "One time my roommate brought home 1% milk. I took a sip and I went, you're a 1% guy." That's how much I like 2%. And I still fucked him, okay? Yeah. Listen, I'm not gonna lie, calcium, good for one bone in the body. Am I right? Anyway, let's see here. I was a weird kid growing up. Anybody in here a weird kid? I see a lot of dyed hair and asymmetrical haircuts. We got some weird kids in here. I was a really weird kid. Anybody who clapped for weird kid, what was the biggest weird kid thing you did, if you're willing to shout it out?
Bite people?
Bite people? Hell yeah, hell yeah. Has that come back later in life in some other form?
Yeah.
Is it sexual?
Sometimes. Sometimes I'll bite my friends.
Do you bite people when you're drunk? Because I do that.
I'm sober. So.
Okay, do you bite people when you're sober? You're brave. I need an excuse. It is a sign of affection. I'm with you. Yeah, no, the weirdest thing I did as a kid, though, was, it wasn't biting people. I found a Polaroid camera, and me and my friend once took pictures of our assholes. That was the thing I did. And it was only a one-time thing. We were like 8 years old. And we like spread cheeks, flash on 2 pictures of our assholes. And so we had these photos and we knew it was a bad thing. And so we were trying to figure out what the fuck we're gonna do with these. And she was just like, "We should throw them away." And I was like, "Your parents will find them." And then I was like, "What if we burn them?" And she was like, "They'll smell the fire." So you're like, "Fuck, what are we gonna do?" And she was like, "I think we should bury them in my backyard." And I was like, "You know what? Pretty good idea, but you guys are pretty active in your backyard, but your neighbor, he's that old guy. He never goes back there. Let's bury them in your neighbor's backyard." And then 3 weeks later, he got convicted of child porn. No, I'm kidding. It was several years later. I lost touch with her. She got back in touch with me. She's like, "We gotta find the pictures. We gotta bury them somewhere else." Oh, man. No, he never got found out. He's fine. Let's see here. But, okay, these are some in the vault. I'm bringing them back because it feels like the room. I was also, I found masturbation too young, I think. I know this because I tried it everywhere. And one time I was at a Sharper Image. And, oh God, I'm gonna lose you. I can feel I'm dressed too normally to be saying the things I'm saying. I work at a restaurant, alright? Give me a break. So I was at a Sharper Image and I turned on one of the neck massagers and I was like, just figuring it out, and I leaned up against one of them until I came. And then later in life, someone was like, yo, where's the weirdest place you've ever masturbated? And I was like, yeah, one time I was 12 at a Sharper Image. And he was like, maybe not a story from when you were 12 years old. And I was like, okay. Fair enough. Anyway, all right, cool. Let's see here. Yeah, I was a late bloomer though. Anybody else in here a late bloomer for virginity allows? Virginity allows. There's a couple people. Nice. I was 20 when I lost my virginity. At that point, it's just sort of like my horniness versus my morality. Because my morality was just like, Rachel, you need to lose your virginity to somebody that you love. But then my horniness was like, yo, you can love anybody. And I did. I loved a German exchange student. I highly recommend it because we all know sex education in this country is garbage, right? Yeah, but in Germany, when they teach sex ed, they teach about male and female pleasure. So the very first time I'm about to have sex, this dude is starting to go down on me, and he just pops his head up and he goes, "Do you like it fast or slow?" Blitzkrieg, dude, so fast. Somebody, to be fair, okay, so honestly, somebody else gave me that tag and I didn't know what it meant at the time, so I had to look it up, and apparently what Blitzkrieg means is a series of repetitive attacks in a localized area. If anybody in here is like me, yeah, absolutely. For sure. Oh man. Let's see here. Yeah, I went through a breakup and I saw him recently. He came into my restaurant. It was really weird too, because he comes up to me and he goes, "Oh my God, it's so good to see you. How are you doing? Do you work here?" And I just went, "Yeah, no." Anyway, would you like a little more time with the menu, or can I get you started? Do you have any questions? And then he, it went. I gave the table away. It was fine. He was really, really nice. But then, at the end of his experience, he came up to me and he was just like, "No, I really want to know seriously, how have you been?" And for some reason, I couldn't handle the sincerity in that moment, so I said something that I've never said before in my entire life, which was just, "Go on now, get!" I desperately need to see him just one more time, just to be like, I don't know why I was Froghorn Leghorn for a moment. Okay, also his name's not Froghorn Leghorn, he's a roaster. I'm an idiot. Oh man. About a year ago, I went to London for the first time, and I fuck with London. I like it. It's a lot like Philly, you can get robbed there too. It's pretty sick. This is how I know. So I was getting on a bus. It was like 4:30 in the morning. I was getting on a bus. I was going to the airport. I was flying to Paris. I was with a friend of mine. This woman comes up to me. She touches my butt very lightly, and you can tell that that's like a pickpocket thing. People will kind of brush up against you. And she looked at me, see her touching my butt, and she just goes, "Come." And I was like, "Oh no." And I get on the bus and I run upstairs, and all of a sudden she comes up, she finds me, and she starts tapping my pockets, going, "Do you have £1? Do you have £2? Do you have £3, please?" And I'm just ignoring her with as much of my concentration as I can, and I'm ignoring her, my friend's ignoring her. And then, eventually my friend snaps and she just goes, "Listen, we don't have any money, and even if we did, we're not going to give any to you, so could you please just leave us alone?" And she takes a second, and she looks at my friend, and she goes, "I like you." And she looks at me, "I don't fucking like you." Okay. And I don't know about you guys, but I cannot stand not being liked. So I decided to engage, and I was just like, "Why don't you like me?" And she was like, "'Cause you look fucking rich and you're not gonna give me any money." And I was like, "Fair point, okay." And then we were going back and forth, and she was just like, "You're not from here." And I was like, "How can you tell?" She was like, "Your accent." And I was like, "Where do you think I'm from?" And she was just like, "Turkey, Uzbekistan, Tajikistan, Afghanistan." And honestly, based on my coloring or where my hair is, I was like, "That's a decent amount of countries." And she just goes, "Thanks, I'm really good at maps." And then eventually, you know, I was just like, "I'm from Philadelphia." And she goes, "The Philippines?" And I was like, "No, Pennsylvania." And she goes, "Ah, don't know that one." And I was like, "Okay." And then like, and I can tell she's getting kind of desperate, you know, she stops patting me down, she gets this look in her eye, and she just goes, "You know, it didn't always used to be like this. I was supposed to go to university, got into drugs, I don't even know why I'm here sometimes." And I felt really bad for her. It was like a moment of clarity between the two of us. And I was just like, "Listen, that's okay. Like, we all have these dark times, and eventually we come out on the other end feeling stronger and better about ourselves." And she was just like, "Thanks." I was like, "Yeah, no problem." She goes, "Who knows, one day, maybe I'll come to Transylvania." And I was like, "Pennsylvania." And she was like, "Whatever." But she was like, "You know, maybe I'll come to Pennsylvania and I'll find you and you'll be asking me for £5. It was like, who knows, maybe, you know. And then she starts to get off the bus and she turns to me and she just goes, "Hey, could you do me a favor?" And I was like, "Yeah, sure, of course, anything." She goes, "Could you not talk shit about me until I get off the bus?" And I was like, "You know what, I promise you I will not talk shit about you till you get off the bus. You know what, even more, I won't talk shit about you for a whole year." That was 1 year ago today. Guys, thank you so much. Do it for her.
Rachel fucking Peters, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, Blue, you're both Aquarius.